the biggest storylines going into the season was this offense that Stephanie White was going to run. Now, I got catalogs of videos breaking this stuff down prior to the season even starting, letting y'all know how this was just spells disaster for Caitlin Clark 2025 season. I mean, I was one of the first whistleblowers. I mean, back in February, March of last year, April last year, telling y'all this offense is not going to work.
Recent observations suggest that Caitlin Clark appears frustrated with the Indiana Fever's motion offense system. This analysis examines the situation developing in Indianapolis and what it means for the team moving forward. Various sources indicate dissatisfaction with how things have unfolded. The information presented here should be considered speculative, though there are noteworthy patterns emerging. During the previous campaign, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever showed promise overall. While Clark dealt with physical setbacks that limited her performance, the squad as a unit advanced to the conference semifinals and came close to reaching the championship series.
Guys, at least for Caitlin, it's going to work for the Fever, but it's not going to work for Caitlin Clark and her style of play. I was vehemently adamant about that happening. Now, fast forward till today, we ultimately know how the season went. Caitlin Clark suffered injuries, and we did not see the Caitlin Clark we seen in past. We wanted to see the Caitlin Clark from Iowa. Now, I told y'all that Caitlin Clark was not going to work in this system. And
one major talking point heading into that season centered on the offensive scheme Stephanie White planned to implement. Multiple breakdowns and analyses predicted potential complications for Clark's playing style under this system. Warnings emerged as early as February, March, and April of the prior year, suggesting this approach might not suit Clark's strengths. The prediction was that while the strategy could benefit the overall team, it wouldn't maximize what Clark brings to the court. Strong convictions existed about this mismatch from the beginning. Looking at how events actually transpired, Clark encountered physical difficulties and didn't display the same level of performance seen previously.
Clark was not going to work in this system. And it's proven to me that Stephanie White does not know how to coach Caitlin Clark. And quiet as it kept, and I know a lot of people might get mad with what I'm about to say next, I believe we should have kept Christy Sides. Because I believe the second half of that season, Christy Sides understood how to play Caitlin Clark. Christy Sides understood what type of player Caitlin Clark was and is. Hence why they went on.
Many hope to witness the version of her game that thrived during her collegiate days at Iowa. The suspicion remains that White hasn't figured out how to properly utilize Clark's abilities. Controversial as it may sound to some, there's an argument that keeping Christy Sides as head coach might have been the better choice. During the latter portion of that season under Sides, there seemed to be a clearer understanding of Clark's playing style and strengths. This comprehension appeared to fuel the team's successful stretch during that period. Had Sides remained in charge for the following season, the theory goes that Indiana might have avoided numerous physical breakdowns among players.
And is. Hence why they went on a run that they did. Now, had we had Christy Sides this year, I believe the Indiana Fever don't have as many injuries. Because I've been telling y'all, some people are going to be mad about this. I know y'all get mad when I say this. Stephanie White's style of offense caused a lot of these injuries, bro. Because she got a lot of offensive players playing this long, aggressive defensive style when these are not defensive players. Like Kelsey Mitchell is not a defensive player. Now, granted, she stepped up a bunch on defense. But hence why her body.
A recurring point of concern is that White's demanding system, MST, particularly the aggressive defensive requirements, MST, may have contributed to multiple player injuries. The scheme asks offensive-minded athletes to expend tremendous energy on defense when that's not their natural skill set. Take Kelsey Mitchell as an example. Traditionally not known as a defensive specialist, she elevated her effort on that end, potentially leading to her body breaking down. These are problems that can be traced back to coaching decisions and system implementation. Whether supporters agree or disagree with this assessment, the reality is that many of these physical issues seem connected to White's tactical approach on both offense and defense. This perspective deserves consideration regardless of popular opinion.
Why her body shut down, bro. These are Stephanie White disasters causing these set problems to break down. People can say what you want, but I'm going to always speak my mind, and I'm going to tell it like it is. I ain't going to get on this microphone right here and BS you. I'm gonna tell the truth, whether fans like it or fans dislike it. You know, but I feel like a lot of those injuries was contributed to the style of offense Stephanie White was calling and defense too. Now, with that being said,
being straightforward about these observations matters more than seeking approval from any particular fan base. Truth should guide the discussion, not sentiment. There's particular footage that continues to resurface and generate discussion. This clip comes from a game against the Atlanta Dream. In this moment captured on video, Clark displays visible frustration and irritation toward White. This contest may have been the final regular season meeting between Indiana and Atlanta.
Now, with that being said, there is a clip that keep coming back and back and back up. That is this clip from the Atlanta Dream game. Let's head on over to X real quick, man. Let me show y'all something. So this is the clip right here, right? Now, in this clip right here that I'm about to show you, it's definitely, it's Caitlin Clark vehemently and pretty much agitated with Stephanie White. Now, if you guys remember this game, it's one of the last times.
Notably, Clark's performance in the second half of that game showed significant improvement. Research confirms she had an explosive showing after what transpired. Reports indicate that Clark confronted White in the tunnel area following a specific sequence during the game. Allegedly, unreleased video documentation exists of this heated exchange in the tunnel. The content of this footage supposedly shows Clark expressing strong displeasure toward White. The intensity of this confrontation was reportedly severe enough that it would have dominated media coverage had it become public.
Stephanie White. Now, if you guys remember this game, it's one of the last times. Matter of fact, this is the last time Caitlin Clark herself played the Atlanta Dream. Now, I believe the second half of this game, Caitlin Clark came out on fire. You can look it up because Caitlin Clark went off on Stephanie White in a tunnel. Now, there is a video that has not been released to the public. I've seen the video of this argument in the tunnel. Now, do I want to say how bad this video looks for Kayla? It looked bad.
This video evidence surfaced months ago but remained undiscussed until now. The assertion is not speculation but stated as factual information. The footage exists and documents Clark's eruption toward White in that tunnel. Examining the clip itself reveals telling body language. The footage shows Clark demonstrably throwing her hands up in apparent exasperation directed at White. This physical expression of frustration suggests deep dissatisfaction with the offensive system being employed. The tunnel confrontation that followed this moment was reportedly intense enough to qualify as newsworthy on a national scale.
Okay, it looked bad. She's really snapping at Stephanie White in this tunnel after this set scene. Now, I hope that video don't ever come to light. I really don't, but I have seen it, and it does exist. Now, that is not allegedly. Those are facts, cold, hard facts. That it's a video that was right after this in that damn tunnel where Caitlin Clark erupted. Erupted on Stephanie White.
This is presented as verifiable fact rather than rumor. Looking ahead to the upcoming season, everyone recognizes this as a rebuilding period. It's time to address mistakes and correct deficiencies. One significant flaw is that while the motion offense worked to some degree for White's coaching philosophy, it appears incapable of delivering a championship. White's track record supports this conclusion. You never won a title running this system. Her tenure in Connecticut didn't produce deep playoff runs, and despite reaching the semifinals with Indiana, a finals appearance remained elusive.
Different things besides just basketball. And if you're going to run your mouth, and let's be real, Angel Reese runs her mouth a lot about a lot of different things. Well, the media has twisted it. You've done a very, very fine job of saying some very unprofessional things. Nobody's had to twist your words. Let's not get confused. Take responsibility. Let's just,
This track record suggests a need to pivot back to a read and react system. The solution involves returning to an approach that puts the ball in Clark's hands more often. The goal should be recreating what made Clark special during her Iowa days, that long-range shooting prowess and playmaking ability. Fans want to see that dynamic player who could hit shots from the logo. The experimental phase with White's preferred system needs to end. Regarding White's media presence, she conducted numerous interviews throughout the previous year, speaking with press members on a weekly basis.
You know, let's just, my God. Take responsibility for the things that you say and your actions. It is what it is, you know. Get up there in front of, you drowned your own teammates in a media interview and then acted like it was the media's fault that it came out. What did you think was going to happen? Of course. It's ridiculous.
The offseason recently concluded, and another interview is scheduled for release. This marks White's second conversation with Indiana-based reporters during the break. Interestingly, White has been speaking exclusively with local Indianapolis media rather than national outlets this time around. Previous seasons saw her engaging with various journalists, but this year shows a clear pattern of restricting access to hometown reporters only. This selective approach raises questions about motivation. The speculation is that White is deliberately avoiding tougher questioning that national media might provide.
It's ridiculous. Angel Reese doesn't hold back on really scary relationship with media. I mean, Lord knows, I don't like the media at all. One of the reasons black and white sports exist is because the media will lie. But I can't remember a controversial thing that has ever come out about Angel Reese that turned out to be a lie that I can think of.
By limiting herself to local Indiana journalists, she may be attempting to control the narrative and sidestep difficult inquiries. It appears to be a strategy to stay out of intense scrutiny. An upcoming podcast episode featuring White is scheduled with Fever Insider Live and Indiana Co personalities. The release date is set for the 22nd. These particular media members, MA1, including Chloe Peterson, Scott Agnes, Brian, and others, are believed to have connections with the Indiana Fever front office. This relationship potentially explains why their content doesn't generate the same audience numbers as independent creators achieve.
It's hilarious. And on top of it, you've got a league that greatly still needs to grow. Now, I keep getting told that she's this massive superstar. Don't you think you should be available to talk? As a way to grow the game? And the popularity of the game? That's my opinion. Angel Reese opened up about...
The theory suggests they face restrictions on what they can say and how they can express opinions. A preview of the upcoming interview has been released. In this snippet, discussion centers on reading habits and book preferences. The conversation touches on White's vacation activities after the season ended, coinciding with her children's fall break. She describes visiting a beach town bookstore where she requested recommendations based on her preferred authors and genres. A bookstore employee suggested a series, which White began reading.
Angel Reese opened up about her contentious relationship with the media during an episode of her Unapologetically Angel podcast, saying she'd rather get fined than talk with reporters because answers end up getting twisted. No, slow down and think about what you're saying before it regurgitates out of your mouth. Here we go.
Even before the game, I'm terrified of what the media is about to ask.
She mentions being 2 books into a series with 2 more remaining. The discussion reveals that White didn't develop a love for reading until her professional playing career. During her time playing for the Fever, her roommate Natalie Williams was an avid reader. Williams was working through a series, possibly the Harry Potter books when they first released. Living together, Williams' reading habit influenced White. Rather than going out for meals, they would stay in and read.
The game, I'm terrified of what the media is about to ask. It could be the nicest question, but it's going to get flipped or put into a different light or a different perspective. And it's are you here intentionally to start mess, or are you intentionally here to ask a question? And it's really tough for me, especially in the media. It's I don't want to do an interview with anybody. I get excited for certain people, like a Taylor, certain people I know I can talk to, but I'll take the fine. I literally will take the fine. I'd rather take the fine. Seriously, I'd rather take the fine sometimes.
This introduced White to reading as an enjoyable activity and a form of mental escape. She found it valuable for decompressing and temporarily leaving behind immediate concerns. Reading became her personal form of escapism. White expresses a preference for physical books over audiobooks. She enjoys imagining character voices in her mind rather than hearing a single narrator. If audiobooks were to work for her, they would need multiple voice actors.
I'd rather take the fine. Seriously, I'd rather take the fine sometimes rather than talking to the media because it always gets flipped. And I think that's where media has gotten these days. Like, you could literally post "the sky was blue" and Angel said that is too dark. That's too, like, stuff like that, you know? So I think it just, for me, like, the media is like really scary. Like, that's why I've never been on anybody else's podcast. I'm scared to do stuff like that because I know how things could get flipped.
That's crappy too. You got a podcast, you want guests, but you won't return the favor.
Her preference leans strongly toward holding an actual book while reading. Another teammate, Linda Dunn, also enjoyed reading and would pass books along to others. This created a book-sharing system among the team and coaching staff. The interview snippet concludes with playful discussion about potentially creating a book club segment for future shows. This preview represents just a small portion of the full interview scheduled for release within approximately 2 days. The central question remains, what are people's thoughts regarding Clark and the motion offense system?
You want guests, but you won't return the favor? I don't love that either, to be honest. Nothing's getting flipped and twisted. Oh, but Rhodes, you've said things. I ain't said a damn thing that wasn't absolutely reported. I make videos on things that are already reported on, in a lot of cases by somebody else in the actual media. And all I'm doing is covering it. And then,
do basketball fans want to see the Iowa version of Caitlin Clark return? That dynamic, high-scoring, long-range shooting style that made her a standout player? There's clearly strong desire among many observers to witness that particular version of Clark's game again, rather than seeing continued experimentation with systems that don't maximize her unique talents. Understanding professional sports contracts reveals that speaking with journalists is a mandatory requirement within WNBA agreements. Athletes carry this duty as a standard element of their employment terms. This requirement extends across numerous sporting leagues where player agreements stipulate media engagement obligations.